Live tonight. Thank you for saying continue if you want to stay in the group here for the Zoom friends. Welcome also to those of you who are watching us on Facebook, either live or with the replay. Thank you so much to Julia for partnering with me so that we can bring some more card making fun to you this month. My name is Missy Shipman, and I've been a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator for 23 years. I've always loved to make stuff, just not dinner. And although I'm getting better at certain things that we know our family likes. So my family does eat dinner. It's just I don't always enjoy the process of making the dinner. But I love to play with ink and paper and fabric and paint and glue. And so it's really fun to be able to share with you in person at the library. We're back to in person on Friday morning. So tomorrow morning, you can join me at 10 o'clock at the library. Or now that we're doing our virtual events as well, it's fun because we can have people who are miles away, sometimes states away, definitely cities away. And we welcome you tonight, those of you who are tuning in. We have 4 projects, 3 cards and a bag. And so I'm going to start with the bag project. And so we'll switch over to my hands, Julia, so we can show you the inspiration for this first project. My friend Valerie gave me this birthday package gift for my birthday in March. And as you know, I often pack our kits in the paper bags. And so it's fun to give you ideas for how to repurpose that bag for gift giving or for storage or what have you. So what my friend Valerie created was a belly band of sorts that wraps around the bag and just secures it closed. So I thought that was very clever and decided that we would make one tonight using one of my most favorite colors, the Granny Apple Green. So to get started with this, you'll need to pull out of your bag. You can actually, it's probably best if you take everything out and kind of set it aside. The things that we're going to need for this first project are the gingham ribbon, the black and white gingham ribbon. The envelope, it has some blue stripes on it. We actually won't use the envelope, but all the goodies are punched for you and they're inside the envelope. Okay, so you'll find that. And then you'll also need this piece of designer series paper that's been cut to the size we need, and I'll explain a little bit more about that. So let me put my other supplies aside so we don't get too confused with my desktop here. But let me show you on our designer series paper wrap. The paper is normally 12 inches long, and that's not quite long enough to reach all the way around. So I've included an extra piece of green designer series paper in your envelope, and you can pull that out there, okay? So we're going to need that to extend the length of our paper. And we can do that first by taking some adhesive. I'll be using our multi-purpose liquid glue tonight. Make a thin line, or you can use, if you have other kinds of adhesive, we're just going to overlap that. And you don't need to really measure. It's just, I cut this generously for you, but it's really just about a ½ inch too short here. And of course, it depends on the size of your gift bag, of your lunch bag. These are a little bit oversized. I find bags that I get like for brown lunch paper bags, they're a little bit more narrow. What I love about this larger size is I can fit full card pieces inside here very easily. So that's why I have the larger size. Okay, so then we're going to wrap it around the bag. You'll notice I had one piece scored just so it would fit in there nicely. And then the other piece we're just going to wrap gently. So I'm going to, let's turn it over. And we don't want it to be too tight. We want the band to be able to slide up and down. So I'm just going to loosely fold that. And it's okay if it's a little bit loose, because what you'll see is like how Val added some tissue paper or whatever you put inside. It could be cookies that you bake or cards that you make or different kinds of jewelry or any collection of things can fit safely in here, but because it's got some tissue paper when I'm ready to give it to someone, it'll have a little substance to it and it will hold that band. So we'll go ahead now and adhere the band. We don't want the glue to stick to the bag. We only want the glue to stick to this green paper. So you'll see I've put a little adhesive along one side and along the other, and that will mean I'm catching both edges of the green band. And again, I'm making sure that it's not adhered to the white bag and it can slide. Now, as we're working tonight, if I go too quickly, you can wave, chat, or go off mute and wave and ask me a question. I'm happy to slow down. And also know that that this will be recorded, and it will be on the Facebook group and on YouTube. So if you're watching me later, you can always pause, rewind, fast forward, whatever is comfortable for you. But I would love to be able to answer questions. So if you have questions and you're here with me live, please interrupt, okay? So that's the back where it has this fitted extra piece. That's the back of our bag. So now I can flip it back over. And we're going to add some fun embellishment. Now, to create the little cactus here, I used a punch called Cactus Cuties. And this is designed to go with the stamp set Cactus Cuties. And what's fun is when you work with a punch like this, you can use these shapes to make all kinds of different things. Of course, not just cactus, right? But I want to show you a couple tips for punching when you're using a builder punch like this to conserve your paper. So you'll see in your little envelope, there are some tiny flowers, tiny little cactus flowers. Let's see if I can find them to show you. Here's one. And because the paper has two different designs, one on the front and the back, you can pick which colors and designs you want to feature. But there should be, I hope, two little flowers in there for you. Let's see. Yep, mine was sticking inside the envelope. So if you need to shake them out, you can do that. There we go. So I have a couple little flowers. There we are. And I have a little cactus part, right? Two pieces that will make the cactus. And then I have, this is kind of like a wooden bowl, okay? So I want to show you how I punched out using the punch to conserve the paper to make all those little bowls for you. So let's see. So designer series paper. In this case, I need just this one little shape. So I'm going to punch, and then I'm going to move it down, and it won't matter that this is getting punched out because I already used the good piece of paper to get the bowl. Let me just say, if I was trying to do it this way, I'd have many shapes here, and maybe I want to have different size bowls, so that would be okay. But depending on what pieces you're punching, you can cut your strips to be the right size. So here's the little yellow flowers. I took just a strip that's about a ½ inch, and then I can kind of walk it along and get a whole bunch of little, they look like dinosaur feet to me, but a whole bunch of these little cactus flowers. So that's just a few tips on how our punches work. But now we're going to build this cactus with all these little pieces. So you'll notice on my sample that some of the pieces are popped up with a dimensional. And if you have some of these in your craft stash, that does help create the depth of the project. So you're welcome to use those. If you don't have any of those in your collection, it's okay just to adhere them flat, or you can layer pieces of paper behind it to kind of create that dimension. So let's go ahead and put our two green pieces, and you can kind of get a sense of where your pot will go so that you put the green in the right place. You also might choose to stamp your greeting first. I'm going to go ahead and get my cactus in place, but depending on what stamps you have or how you might like to handwrite a message, you can leave space for that. There we go. And then I'll take my dimensionals. Let's see, you know that they like to hide each time on me. So here they are. Okay, so I'm just going to pop a couple dimensionals so that there'll be a little bit of depth where the bowl is, just to indicate that the cactus is inside the bowl. All right. And then we can add the fun little flowers. There's some yellow ones. I think you had both the yellow and the pink. And if you wanted to use the blue, you could behind there. So I'm going to just add a little small amount of glue and build this cactus. Now, cactus can have all kinds of flowers, I think. I've been to Phoenix, Arizona, and I went to a beautiful botanical garden there and saw some cactus. Trying to think if I've seen cactus anywhere else in my journeys. Have you seen any cactus before? They don't live normally where I live here in central New York. Has anybody seen cactus in real life?
I just saw some small ones in Tennessee when we were there over April break.
Wonderful.
They were cool because you don't normally see them, you know?
Right, right. In the Northeast, it's not a natural habitat for them. Julia, have you seen
my
cactus before?
Yeah, my husband is from Arizona, and so when I visited his family there, we saw lots of cactus, and I said, this is like entering a different world. It's like I've gone onto Star Trek and gone to a planet.
Yeah, the desert climate is very foreign to us. It's a really different experience. So, but I think on trend right now in terms of home decor and fashion, cactus and succulents remain really, really popular. So even though they aren't in our natural environment, I think we're more familiar with them because of what we see in fashion and home decor. So I'm going to stamp a greeting from the stamp set that says hello. There's some other ones though that are clever. It says, hope your day is on point, because of course the cactus would be prickly or pokey. So I'm going to take that little hello. Let me get my block for us. Now, if you have a stamp in the set that you borrowed from the library that has words, that's wonderful. Or you could write, handwrite a little message here. Or I think this would be a great place to create a little monogram for someone. So think about who you might want to share this a gift with, whether it's cookies or cards or some supplies for crafting or some school supplies, whatever you're going to put in your little bag. Think of who you might want to gift that to. And then you could put their initial on here. There's nothing like receiving something with your monogram, I think. It just shows that that was made or purchased with the intention of you have it. So I love when things have a letter M on them, capital Missy with a capital M. So, all right. So, but if you have a stamp with words, you can go ahead and add that then. And now what we need to do is just get these things wrapped around the green paper. So first we'll take our ribbon, this black and white gingham ribbon, and I'm going to tie a bow. So just like I'm tying my shoes, I'm gonna, I don't want it to be super tight or snug, but again, I want it to stay in place. We're also going to anchor it with these glued pieces, so you don't have to worry about your bow being super tight here. You can also tie a knot if you like, or I cut it pretty generously, so you should have a chance to make a nice bow. And I'm gonna slide it over to the left. And then what I want to do is kind of figure out a collage effect here, how I want my circles to be. I think they just look kind of modern. The bold colors, the gingham, the buffalo check here along with the black kind of is fun. So you can decide, you might decide to put yours, some more circles over in this space. Maybe I'll do that this time so you can compare. The one I did earlier, I have 3 bubbles up here or up here. And then on this one, maybe I'll put the yellow or switch it up, because do you see the pink flower there and then the yellow? Maybe I'll do it like this. So again, there are no rules, right? When you're stamping, you can experiment and use the materials any way that you like. The papers do have other sides to them. That's the front and back, but this one does have that teal color with the stripes if you like that. So let's go ahead and anchor these with some adhesive. I'm gonna just slide them under that. There we are. And if some of you know that in the Stampin' Up! World, we always have new products. We have things that retire and then new things coming in. So the Cactus Cuties is something that's soon to retire. And when we get the list of things that are retiring, I think, oh, no, I didn't have a chance to play with that yet. So it's always a good motivator for me to pull it out and get it inky. And I've really enjoyed playing with this one. So let's now I'll use the Stampin' Dimensionals to anchor the white circle. And then I'll be ready to add this, put some gifts in here for somebody special. My mom and I are going this weekend to visit my niece in Boston. Some of you know I have a niece in Boston named Claire, who is 3 years old. And we're going to get to see Claire and her family, but we're also going to see my 14-year-old niece who is visiting from North Carolina. She's coming up to Boston to play hockey, and my mom and I are going to get to visit there and watch her play, which will be really super fun. So I think I'm going to take this either to Ellie, the hockey player, or to her mom with some kind of treat inside. To
Well,
say
you've
how
got
happy
two
I
of
am.
them, so you can.
I have two, you're right. So I get one for each of them.
Did you use a dimensional on that top one?
I did. On the
Okay.
dimensional here, I actually popped up.
That looks really cute.
It does give a little more hop to it, doesn't it,
Yeah.
in height? Yeah, this one I just did that flat. I only popped up this, but I do like it.
Yeah.
It just gives more depth in a simple way. So like I said, this is ready now to gift. You'll slide it off, put your goodies inside. And then what my friend Val did is she folded down the top just to kind of secure that, whatever was inside. And then when the band goes over it, let's see if I can do it here on camera. Fudge it a little bit, but then nothing will come out of the top because we've kind of anchored, we've folded over the top and then anchored it with the band. So I hope you'll have fun thinking of who to give this to. And what's fun is they can reuse the whole package. They can repack, give something, or they could use this in a different way. You could think about this. I think would work well if you were giving someone some socks or a scarf or something that would fit inside here, right? Or a set of cards. See, you could slide a few cards in here and make it a band for that. So hopefully it'll have some life. Either the recipient will enjoy having it or they'll enjoy passing it on.
And you'd probably flip the bag over when you slide that on so that the bottom doesn't show. Yeah, so it's just
correct. Yep, you'll fill it up and then the bag kind of has a front and a back because of the seam, but it's not super obvious.
Right.
So I think you'll see on this one from my friend, probably when she gave it to me, she had it no seam in the front, but you can kind of fiddle around with it.
Yep.
And you could fill it up with popcorn or treats, candy treats too. All right, so let's set those aside. And the next thing we're going to make is this card, this one here, that to me looks kind of like a garden lattice. So I put some garden paper behind it to kind of give that effect of glorious springtime. If any of you live here in Beeville and were able to see the display of tulips at the library, it's my favorite season at the library. Their daffodils are amazing too, but goodness, those tulips, Julia, they give me great pleasure. So anyway, this one has the tulips and the springtime flowers, and then some of these butterflies. So in your kit, you'll find a piece. It will be similar to this. There's two different kinds of lattice pieces. So you'll have one or the other. And the other one has kind of a diagonal line on it, but it's a similar white cardstock, okay? And then you can find the tulip piece. Now, some of you have a tulip piece that's cut portrait. So it's taller than it is wide. Some of you, and I don't have an example of both, but some of you, it's cut landscape where the flowers are growing up from the landscape. So yes, Jay has the landscape one, okay? So that means your card, when you set it up, you're going to have it in this direction, Jay, so that your flowers it's gonna be a little bit different. You could always cut the paper, or, you can play with the designs any way you like, but as you know, you can mix and match. And in fact, when I first was playing with this design, the orange paper was going to be inside here. Let me show you the sneak of the next card where I use the orange corrugated paper for this card. But you might decide you want to put the flowers in that frame. So again, sometimes people put everything together while we're watching together live. And other times people kind of look around and get ideas and see all the pieces and then mix and match. And your butterflies are maybe different from mine. There's some yellow ones, some orange, some green, some blue, some kind of blushing bride. Oh, beautiful, Julia. Yes, so you have a landscape one with the vertical piece. That's wonderful. Very good. So everybody's are going to be a little bit different, but we're going to work with some of the similar pieces. So I have a green butterfly in that kit, and here's one of this kind of blushing one. So I'm going to pretend this time that my paper is landscape so that I can show you. I'll put the green inside instead. That looks pretty too. And that way, depending on how your kit is, you can make it similarly. Okay. So of course, when it's a portrait layout, I have a little more room for my greeting. So I'm just going to need to be thoughtful about how I do the greeting if my paper is up and down. And in your kit, you have an extra label that looks like this. And so if you wanted to be able to put a larger greeting, you could add that. Otherwise, we could take a greeting and like this hello stamp that's small and go hello, 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 hello. That's a trick of using a smaller greeting multiple times to fill in a space. But I think I'll use the this larger one. So because this isn't used on another project tonight. Okay. So I'm going to stamp a greeting. Let's see what might fit in there. See if this one fits. All I can say, that doesn't quite fit either. How about, I'd forgotten that some of them would be that direction. How about, this is a new one called Happier Than Happy for You. This is a stamp set called Happier Than Happy. It has some fun forest animals in it and this wonderful greeting. So let's experiment here with this one. Happier Than Happy for You. And I'm going to put that in this ovally shaped banner. So again, depending on your orientation, if you want your card to be portrait or landscape, that will kind of dictate how you do your greeting. So let's see, I'm going to pull again this Starry Sky. This is our new blue color, which is so lovely. It's kind of a purpley blue. Happier Than Happy for You. Okay. So because my tulips are oriented portrait-wise, but I want this card to be landscape, I'm going to flip it over and use the green. And again, you can decide how you want to put together your card. So I'm going to apply some of my adhesive again. And this card is a little bit unusual because we don't have a lot of, we wouldn't do a lot of writing inside here because you see through it. So your writing might be just here. You might put, you know, Ellie, I'm so proud of you. To get to see you play hockey this weekend is a dream come true. Love, Aunt Missy. Just a quick little message in there instead of a very long note. So now I can put my label in place, my sentiment. And then I'll add my butterflies wherever I think they might be happy here. I've got this nice green one. And what I'm doing is folding, just lightly creasing the center of the butterfly so that it will have a little bit of motion. And same with this smaller one. And when I put my adhesive on, I have to be a little strategic because I don't want it to be sticky on the inside, okay? So I have to decide where I want this little butterfly to be, and I'm going to put a tiny bit of glue there and then tuck it on. Just hold it for a moment to help the glue bond with the paper to paper.
And I hope it didn't slop over underneath.
Yeah, and if it does, you know, it's handmade with love. So if you get a lot of adhesive there, what you can do is take a piece of scrap paper and just put a little scrap paper on top of there. If you were really clever, you could trace your butterfly, and so you can cut it out, and then you'd have a butterfly that could mimic that shape on the inside. This one I don't have to worry about as much because I'm going to put it right along that bold white. So I'm going to put it here. That's fun, isn't it? The green worked out for that one. Let's see. There. Okay. So it's a simple card. I'm going to move this down just slightly. Usually I tell people you want to get all of your assembly, all your stamping and assembly, and then glue, because if you glue too soon, sometimes it's hard to move it, but I was able to move that one a little bit. All right, so we have the portrait and the landscape. And remember, your lattice will be different if it's a triangle, if it's a diagonal one, or whatever greetings you use. But isn't this an engaging card and fun texture there?
I like
Okay.
the option of either stamping the in the bar and then
Yeah.
or putting it on one of the shapes.
Exactly, very good. Yeah, and this one I hadn't used for another project, so it's a good size for a greeting here.
Yeah, I figured out a way. I wanted it to be the
Yeah,
portrait instead of the landscape, and I found a little frame thing, which we're probably going to use later. But anyway, this was a thought where you could use
great.
the frame to make the
Tulip piece could
flowers
then
come
be
down,
switched to the
right.
other direction.
Exactly.
Oh, I love it. And I
Yeah.
like your use of the frame. Yeah, we will be using that, but what's fun is you can mix and match the pieces. Great way to extend the paper like that.
Right.
Yeah, that tulip paper is really pretty. Thank you, Julia. Very cool. If anybody has questions, just unmute or put it in the chat because it's fun to interact with you. So I asked a question about cactus. How about butterflies? Have any of you ever been to a butterfly garden?
Yes.
Tell me about that, Julia. Isn't it fun?
Yeah, my child was it was before she turned 1, so she was a babe in arms, and she had one of
Yeah.
those big white hats on, and the butterflies came and landed on the hat.
Oh,
So we have pictures of her as a baby with the
wow.
butterflies landing on, and they were monarch butterflies.
Oh, that's very magical.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I went to a butterfly garden once in Cincinnati, Ohio, with my friend Colleen, who lives there, and our friend Melanie. And it was really magical because they didn't land on me, but they did land on one of my friends. But just being in that space, there was beautiful gardens, really, really, really pretty flowers. And you could just sort of sit on the bench and just observe. And it was magical to see the butterflies, but also to see the people's reactions to the butterflies. So people watching was really fun that day. Okay, so let's move next to our orange and blue card. And that's the one that does use the blue frame and the corrugated orange paper. Now, I like that this has corrugation. I think it's it makes a great sound. It's got a lot of texture and grip to it. But on the other side, it's a nice smooth side. So you can decide, again, what appeals to you, how you would like to use it. We have a card base in the kit that's basic white, the 5.5 by 8.5. So I'm going to fold that in half to make our sturdy card base. And then I can begin here. I've got my orange layer. I have this frame layer. And you'll see how I had some of this nice navy twine. And what I thought was clever is the only thing that's popped up on here is the frame and the white greeting. So the orange and the wrapped with the twine is flat onto the white card. So we want to do that first before we adhere the orange to the card. We will tie a bow again around it. Now, if you forget to do that, it can just wrap around the whole inside of the card, but it's nice when you don't see that, and it also makes it secure. So let's see, Julia, 2 of the Facebook card makers saw the cactus garden. Oh, at the Chocolate Factory in Las Vegas. Oh my goodness. And they both did. Oh, I would love to see that. I went to Las Vegas years ago when Matthew was a toddler. We got to travel with my husband for work. And so I had a couple of days of Bill being at work and me and Matt kind of exploring in Las Vegas, and lots of fun memories of the fountains there, the Bellagio. But I would like to go. The chocolate factory sounds like fun, not only to see the cactus, but to enjoy some chocolate. So here is my bow on my corrugated orange, okay? And I'm gonna secure that with the mono adhesive glue. Well, I'll look forward to catching all the comments from Facebook after our Zoom tonight. And I can, if you have questions, I'll be able to respond to them there, or you're welcome. Julia's watching it too, and she can hopefully catch if there's questions while we're together. Thanks, Julia. All right, so now this frame, I want it to have that popped, so I'm going to put some dimensionals behind it. And these are the mini dimensionals. They're kind of little. I like that they fit into smaller pieces, but you can always, if you have larger ones, you can always cut them. And I'm going to wrap this on, add this to the corrugation. Oh, there's my son. I'm going to open up the door for him. Hey, Mouse, come on in. Did the front door get locked?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry. This is my son, Matt. He's home from Villanova. Can they see you? Come in here for a second.
Hello.
There he is. There's Matt from Villanova. Julia and Jay and Katie and Sue. We're glad you're here. Matt was out playing basketball with some neighbors and I locked him out, not intentionally, but here he is. Okay, so I can put my frame on there like this. And then you'll see you have a strip of gold stars because you're all deserving of praise tonight. You got some gold stars. Let's see if I can find mine. Let's see, I'm gonna reach around for a second. There. Okay, and so we have gold stars, and then we have another shaped label. This one I chose is a more narrow, wider strip. And the stamp that I'm going to show you is actually got more words than just thanks. It says, all I can say is thanks. But I found that it'd be cramped a little bit to fit all of that on the block or onto the label. Let's do it on this color if you can see it a little bit better here. There we are. Okay. So what I'm going to do is just ink up the word thanks. And it's simple to do it on this particular stamp because the image is very straight. There's some other tips and tricks you can use to mask words, or it's called omitting. You can use Scotch tape or washi tape to cover a part that you don't want to have stamped, and then you remove the tape and therefore the ink is not onto the stamp itself. But because this is a nice straight word, just going to get thanks, I'm just going up to the edge of the ink pad to get the word thanks, and I'll put that in the middle here. I wanted to use these thankful greetings tonight because tomorrow, those of you who come to our live event tomorrow with your $20 supply fee, you'll get this kit called A Million Thanks that makes some really happy cards with lots of texture. So, and the images are thankful ones. So this, you can see, has this UV printing on it to make it like shiny embossed. Isn't that lovely? And it has some special embellishment pieces and a fruit theme on this one. This one here it's made to look like ribbon. This is actually paper behind it, but it's folded and printed to make it look like ribbon. And that, again, that fun embossed shine on the card. You make 3 of each in this kit. And here's the one that has the greeting, A Million Thanks. There's lots of dimensions on this. You get a whole bunch of dimensionals in this kit with the polka dot parts. So, and as you know, these kits generally have printed envelopes to go with them too. So these are some special ones with the black and white stripes inside as a liner. And so I encourage you, if you can come out and join us tomorrow. What's fun about our Friday morning Let's Kit Together classes is you get to enjoy the fellowship of friends crafting together, and then you get to take home the whole kit to do more crafting at home. So with our thanks, now we can add it to the orange base. And because the string is here, I want my dimensionals to kind of go north and south of the string. Do you see how I have one above where the string is and one below, so that it will lay pretty flat. This twine doesn't have a lot of depth to it or weight to it. It's still pretty thin, but by putting a dimensional above and below, we're sure to not have it be on a funny angle. So one of these things is not like the other, right? What's missing on the bottom one? Should we add some stars? Gold stars.
Yes, gold stars.
Gold stars. So these are gold glitter stars. You'll see they're epoxy. They have a shine and a thickness to them and some glitter in there. And usually when I work with embellishments, I like to use odd numbers. 3 is a good number. It keeps your eye moving. But you have some more than 3, and you can use them any way that you like. It might be fun also to anchor them in the corners of the card. You could have them they'd almost be like brads or other on a frame, you know, kind of an anchored, there's another word for that, like another word for embellishment, but I can't think of it right now. So we've been busy, right? We've made a lattice card and a frame card and our wrap. And so we're going to finish up tonight with a donut card. Now, let's see if I can find the pieces that you're going to need. Here they are. Okay. So there's a piece that's unfolded like this. It's 2 donuts side by side, or big owl eyes. You're going to fold that in half. And then we have some frosting for the donut. Okay. And then this is like a chocolate squiggle of frosting on top of the donut. To me, it also looks kind of like a honeycomb shape, like a honey hive, right? Not the hexagon shapes of it, but the Winnie the Pooh outside of the honey hive. So this is a sticker. You can just carefully peel this up off of the paper. Squiggly, squiggly. And then we can add that to that frosting on the donut. Okay. And you have to just kind of push it down to, again, to get the adhesive to be sticky to the paper. Just push some pressure on there. And I'm going to cut away this little bit of extra. Let's see where I put my scissors. I have a lot of activity here on my tape. There they are. Okay, I'm going to just trim away that little bit of frosting that's in the middle. That would have dripped down into the middle of the donut. It wouldn't be on the top anymore. And again, I can just use my finger to burnish that sticker on there. And before we put it onto the card base, let's do a little bit of sprinkles. Let's add a little bit of sprinkles to it. So on this one, I used a stamp that's part of the kit for tomorrow, part of the Million Thanks stamp set. This one has a, let's see if I can get it. This has a little flower, and it also has this little like sunburst that I like to use as a sprinkle. So we'll take the sorbet. This is a new in color called Sweet Sorbet. It's a rich, deep watermelony reddish color, pink and pinkish red color. And I just want to add a little bit of sprinkles to this donut because I think a fun greeting might be, hope your day is sprinkled with love, or hope your day is sprinkled with lots of fun. So I want to have some sprinkles on here.
Yeah, I immediately was thinking of the little pearl dots that you have.
Yes,
But those could be fun sprinkles too.
definitely. Any kind of glittery, sequiny embellishments would be perfect. And so I'm going to use this color, and then I'm going to add another color of sprinkle also. You can also make sprinkles just with markers. I'll show you, but when I add the blue, I'll show you how to do that. They can kind of look like what my mom used to call jimmies. This kind of, people, this is a good question to put in the chat. Do you call these sprinkles, or do you call them jimmies? You know, when you get soft serve ice cream and you get the sprinkles on top? We always call them sprinkles, but my mom grew up in Connecticut and they called them jimmies. So if you have a story about sprinkles on your ice cream, you can tell us. They're different from the like cupcake kind that might be more circular. They're like these little long ones. Let's put a couple of colors. Where did I put my other mark? Here they are. Okay. So I've got, this is a new color called Parakeet Party. Isn't that fun? So we'll add some Parakeet Party sprinkles. There we are. Looks like a party. So you might say in your card, hope your day is sprinkled with fun. Or you might say, do not forget how special you are. So I'm going to write that in mine. And I'll use the red sorbet color to match my sprinkles. So I'm going to have it say, do not forget. Do not forget. And then with my fine tip, I can write how special you are. So you don't always have to have the stamp with just the words that you want. You can handwrite things or cut out letters from the magazines. How special you are. Okay. So I thought that was our last project, but I'd forgotten about one more thing. So, but let's make sure that I show you all the steps to the donut card. So once you have things, you put the sticker on, the frosting sticker, have some sprinkles, then you can add it to the card base. So I'm going to use some dimensionals just to have it have a little more 3D effect. And this, of course, would be a great card to give to someone if you're giving them a gift card to a donut shop, or a bag of donut holes or something for a special celebration day. That would be kind of fun on theme to do a donut card.
Oh, now I know exactly who to give this to.
Very good. That's always makes me smile when I hear from friends who say, oh, this card is perfect for whatever occasion they need, or for the friend or the family member that they're thinking of. And that's definitely how you make a difference with your card making, and because it's fun to make them, but much more important that we give them away. So when you make them, you can always, if it's one you really love, you can always take a picture of it, right? So that you'll have kind of the memory of the idea and of the experience of making it, but then you can gift it to someone, because boy, Happy Mail is sometimes hard to come by these days, so it's much appreciated. So we'll finish up with this last project, which is very simple. It's a smaller card, so this is one that wouldn't go through the mail. It's not, the envelope is too small to go in the mail, but it would be great to include with a gift card, or if you pick some flowers from your garden and give them to your neighbor and you just want a little card enclosure, that would be perfect. So this is where we're going to use that large label to let someone know that we're seriously grateful. And this is a funny one of the stamps that comes. It says, seriously grateful for you. So I'm going to stamp that again in my Starry Sky ink. So our theme tonight, of course, was gratitude. A million thanks. And I am very grateful for Julia and for the friendship we've had that we've grown over the years working together to bring card making to you at the library. So here's seriously grateful for you. And then you'll notice it's quite subtle, but on my original card that I made, whoops, I guess I was off camera a little bit there. I'm sorry, friends. It's kind of subtle, but you can see the little blue on blue, tone on tone. That's called monochromatic card making, where we're just using that one color. And so we're going to take the small little flower, and here we go. We're going to stamp just kind of all the way around. And I like to call this like wallpaper stamping because it's extending off the page. It's like wrapping the wall. So some of the little flowers are going to hang off the edge, but I don't need to cover the middle of the card because that label is going to be there. It's okay if you put some in the middle, but you're going to cover them up. So we're kind of creating a frame of these pretty flowers. I think it's nice. These projects are really gender neutral too. They appeal to everyone. They're natural. Butterflies, gardens, cactus, colors. They really appeal to everyone.
Donuts.
And, what's that, Julia?
And donuts.
And donuts are for everyone. You are right. So here's seriously grateful for you. I'm going to pop that up. Now, I think in some of the kits, you might have had 2 pieces of blue string. Does your kit have 2 pieces of blue string?
Yes, it does.
Great. So if you want, you could take a blue string and wrap it around this card just to add more texture. You know, I love when you can combine textures, whether it's like a tactile or textile fabric or ribbon combined with a paper or the epoxy. All of those contrasts, the mixed media, really appeals to me. So if you wanted, you could add some of this twine to your seriously grateful for you. And then I'm going to put a little heart in here. This could be just a little surprise. You can write a special message on this. And then when they open their card, it's kind of like confetti, but it's not going to fall all over their office desk. It's just going to be one little heart that when they open it up, they're going to have a little extra love from you. You, of course, can use this any way you like. It's just a bonus in your project, but I thought it was kind of a fun way to add a little surprise there. Are there any questions? I'll line up the projects we made and you can share any comments that you have or questions. It's been fun to be with you tonight. Thanks for joining in. And those of you catching the replay or watching on YouTube, we appreciate you too. We're glad you can learn along with us. And those of you who can join in the fun tomorrow morning in person, that would be fabulous. We'll be gathering next month again on Zoom and in person. And as always, it gives me a lot of pleasure to partner with Julia and the library to share my love of paper crafting.
Yep. And probably starting in July, we'll be charging a small fee for this online, just to help cover the materials.
Right.
But it'll be a much smaller fee, hopefully affordable for everybody.
Wonderful, yes, and it's really been fun for me to gather supplies, and sometimes it's a little bit of a hodgepodge, and not everybody has the same thing, but that allows our budget to stretch when everything doesn't have to be the very same. So thanks for being flexible with that too, and seeing the possibilities and the variety. Yeah, thank you so much, Julia, for hosting us.
Sure.
And I'll check the Facebook too. If there's any questions, I can go back through and do respond to any comments. But we're so grateful we have more than one avenue, right, that we can reach. So Jana says Jimmy's are the chocolate ones. Yes. I have to ask my mom if it was differentiation. And Julia, you gave us some good information. They were called Jimmy starting around 1947. And probably started as a chocolate flavor. Very cool. Thank you, librarian fun friend. Someone had fun naming those colors. Yes, these colors, the Stampin' Up! Colors for sure. Parakeet Party and Sweet Sorbet. Stampin' Up! Always has alliterative colors, and they are entertaining. Tahitian Tide is that blue that I used. So thank you, everybody, for being a part of our fun tonight and engaging. It's been really a lot of fun. Thanks, Julia.
Thanks, Missy.
Bye, Jana. Thanks for joining us.
Jay.
What's that? I know I said Jana because I was reading it.
That's
but
my
you're Jay.
granddaughter's name. So
I know.
she put that on there.
I know you're Jay, and I'm so glad to
Yes.
see you and be reconnected with you. It's really wonderful.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everybody.